You're watching T.S. Madison TV.
My God, today. Now listen, are we still in Gemini season? Are we still in Gemini season? Is the Gemini still loud, live, and in color? We still in Gemini season? I think we're in Gemini season. So I just want to say this morning to everybody out there that it's your birthday. You know, I just want to wish all my Geminis and things like that, you know, and if it's your birthday today, if your birthday coming up, you know, because we in the house on your birthday. Well, some of y'all bitches, because I don't know, a lot of y'all is violating the stay-at-home order and shit like that. So, you know, a lot of y'all bitches already been out on your birthday. Y'all been out, y'all got the COVID-19. I guarantee you do. I miss you when you're gone. But while you're here, if you're still here before you start coughing, bitch, here you go. Yeah. I want to say happy birthday. Oh, to my daddy, I love you. Yeah, don't nobody say happy birthday like Whitney Houston. All right, so let's go ahead on and get into the situation that's going on in the situation with the situation. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you know 2020 started out like what 2020, I got a question to you. Where did we go wrong? In the words of Jaguar Evermore, where did we go wrong? What's going on in 2020? Girl, it's almost 6. Girl, we ain't but 6 months. 5 months. We about to be 6 months in. We halfway in, girl. And the country going down to the ground. We ain't even started. The country already all over the flow. Somewhere over the rainbow, all over the flow. You get what I'm saying? It just got. That's why people say God ain't pleased. They say God ain't pleased at all. God ain't pleased. They say, yes, 2020 is OVA, over. And that's it. Over, honey, over. Now, today, ladies and gentlemen, I have Devin Barrington Ward, Anita Ward's cousin. And Devin is running for state office here. I'm trying to see. Let's see. Devin, is your sister? Your screen done went black down there. Well, y'all is good, and he is good today. I serve
that on-time God. That God
on-time God.
On time and shows out.
Oh, Basha. All right. So, Devin, here's the thing. You are tell me a little bit about. Tell the people a little bit about what's going on, and then we're gonna talk about a few of these things. We're not gonna stay on here long because I'm real hungry this morning.
I understand that. I'm hungry too. I ain't ate yet either. So let's get it down quick and dirty. I know you know how to do that.
Oh yes, very. You know I know. No,
Listen,
let him talk about it.
That's why I hang out with you. Okay.
That's right.
So,
that's right. You know, you got to get down there with the common folk. Come on.
I am the common folk. So I'm running for state senate here in Georgia, in the great state of Georgia, on the west side of Atlanta. So that is District 38. The areas that includes is my neighborhood, Bankhead. Yes, I live in Bankhead. Shout out to Bankhead. Mableton, Smyrna, Southwest Atlanta, so Cascade, Ben Hill, Campbellton Road area, and some parts of Buckhead. So it's a big district, it's about 120,000 people. I'm running because we have a state senator that is currently in the seat that doesn't do anything for the community, hasn't held a meeting with community in the last 4 years, has not introduced any legislation that addresses any of the issues that I see the people in my community dealing with. We're talking about, you know, dealing with a broken criminal justice system. We're talking about a housing that's not affordable. We're talking about, you know, economic development that's not equitable for Black communities. We're talking about healthcare. We're talking about healthcare in the middle of a global pandemic when we have 1.6 million Georgians that don't have insurance. How are we supposed to deal with a large-scale pandemic when we don't have all of the tools that we need to keep our people safe and healthy? And so that's why I'm running. I'm running because I have to save my life and I have to save the life of my community members. And the way in which I've decided to do that is through the Georgia State Senate, because there's lots of power at the Gold Dome downtown. So that's why I'm running. That's the issues that we're dealing with. And a lot of the stuff that we're going to talk about today will intersect with a lot of the plans that I have for this state Senate seat for the community.
Yeah, and I'm so very proud of you. I know. What happened? Oh, yes, the COVID-19 came in.
Yes, COVID-19 came in.
I just wanted to tell Chichi that the COVID-19 came in. Okay. So
you're so
the COVID-19.
Stop it.
Devon Smith said that we skipped past the hatred of Zaya Wade. I mean, we were sitting up this morning talking really trying to get down.
Yeah, there's been so much.
Listen, no shade. That was a headline that we missed.
That was a headline. Well, we're going to talk about some. Yeah, that was a headline that we missed, but we're talking about some other things as pertains to people who identify as trans. Because while that was the hatred of Zaya Wade was definitely a headline, we also know what was a headline but wasn't as big of a headline was the murder of Black trans women this year. Some very heinous murders of Black trans women this year.
Let's take a look at a couple. The HRC mourns Monica Diamond with Black trans woman killed in North Carolina.
This one was really hard. When I heard about this one, I was really sad because she was actually being treated by paramedics, and someone opened the back of the ambulance and shot her right in front of the paramedics. And this murder actually took place at the start of the COVID-19 pandemic as it was growing in the United States.
Then we have, go ahead. Nina Powell.
Right. So
Missouri.
Another Black trans woman that was killed, murdered, no justice. And there continues to be no peace in our community because there is no justice.
Yeah. Then we got two bodies. Yes, Mo, work it out. Two bodies of two transgender women found in badly burned car in Puerto Rico.
Yeah. So, again, for folks who may not, I know this president doesn't like to acknowledge Puerto Rico as being a part of the United States, but it is. And these were trans women of color who were murdered very heinously as well. So while the hatred of Zaya Wade is really important to talk about that, because that hatred can, grow into murder.
Correct. Yeah, we talk about 2020, Jessica Lee. So I mean, yeah, you can leave it on the assets, Mo, and just let Devin and I can deliberate over what we see.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be going back and forth. So let me put the screen here, and then afterward, Devin and I will deliberate over what we see.
Yeah, I see some of the comments coming in.
Then, while all this was going on, the unemployment. Let's talk about the unemployment. The unemployment, nearly 3 million new.
No, 36 million, and then 3 million on top of that.
Yeah, there were new added to the 36 million that had happened. So people lost their jobs. So people were out of work. People were out of work. People were out of finances wasn't coming in. Gigs were canceled. All this stuff. It doesn't happen.
Right.
Then with all of that shit going on, we got protesters that's waving MAGA flags, trying to defy and swarm the steps of Michigan State Capitol to demand the governor to end the strict stay-at-home orders.
Yeah.
Then with all of this stuff going on,
and now these are now this is really interesting. These are mostly white folks going and protesting at the Michigan State Capitol. They also did that in Pennsylvania and a few other states. Now it's including Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's very interesting that nobody got arrested at those protests. Nobody got arrested. Nobody got thrown to the ground. Nobody got disrespected by the police. Very interesting, because the privilege that comes along with that skin color allows you, and the association to the president allows you to protest, but not experience what the folks are experiencing in Minnesota right now, in Minneapolis.
Right. Okay. Then.
Right. It's been a lot. It's been a lot, y'all.
Next, Breonna Taylor.
Yeah. Breonna Taylor, Black woman, EMT, an essential worker, someone who is going to respond most likely to a COVID-19 call, was killed by police officers who went to the wrong door with a no-knock warrant. And for people, this is an education moment. No-knock warrants literally mean that the police can enter your home without knocking and letting you know that they are the police. There was actually a 96-year-old grandmother that was killed in Atlanta a few years ago, maybe 10 or 12 years ago, Katherine Johnson, who was killed with a no-knock warrant. And of course, what happens with these no-knock warrants is they oftentimes are the wrong house. And so her boyfriend shot back, and the gun battle led to Breonna Taylor's death.
Ahmaud Arbery.
Ahmaud, our brother Ahmaud, down in New Brunswick, Georgia, just 3.5, 4 hours away from the city of Atlanta, where we like to think we're such this progressive enclave and like nothing can happen in Atlanta, but we are surrounded by old Georgia and the old South. And when I saw that video, I thought I was watching something that was from 1865, not 2020. And was killed by white vigilantes. And what was worse was that those vigilantes were not arrested until there was a public demand and outcry that they be arrested. And it's sad that we have to do that over Black life.
See why my energy was low?
Yeah, but we're gonna get it back high. Let's get through the rest of 2020, because we're gonna talk about how we get in 2020 on track.
And we got George Floyd.
We got George Floyd. Again, you know, it reminded me so much of, I actually didn't watch the full video of George Floyd because I remember how much pain I felt watching Eric Garner's video about, 3 or 4 years ago. And it was based on what people described the video as. It was basically the same thing, except from, Eric Garner was killed with a chokehold. This person was killed because, police officers kneeled down and crushed their spine over allegedly writing a bad check. Allegedly, nobody has been, none of these folks were proven guilty of anything. And even if they were, it's not the responsibility of the police to play judge, jury, and executioner.
Listen. Then all of this sparked this.
Yep.
Minneapolis police station set ablaze. The riots. The Minneapolis, they is tearing Minneapolis down.
And for me, as someone who's like, an aspiring public official, I want to also give love and extend so much grace to Andrea Jenkins, a Black trans woman who is the vice president of the Minneapolis City Council, who stood in her dignity, in the dignity of Black people in her city, and demanded that there be a change, and looked at the police chief dead in his eye in the middle of the press conference and quoted somebody from community and said, "We got to change things, bro." And, we can come up with all these plans and all these things, but ultimately we have to come to the conclusion that we are continuing to be seen over and over and over again that the police are not here to protect us, that their protecting and serving is not in the interest of Black and brown people. And we have to just be honest about that. And we got to stop making excuses. And we got to stop saying, "Oh, but what about the good cops?" The good cops are a part of a broken and illegal system of policing that harms and terrorizes Black communities. And we see this over and over and over again. And so while a lot of people want to talk about the protests, I don't want to talk about the protests until we talk about what caused the protests. I don't want to talk about riots until we get to justice for George Floyd. I don't want to talk about that. I don't want people to continue to police Black rage and police Black anger that is justified. And we continue to ignore what caused the anger, what caused the uprising. I don't believe that it's a riot. It's an uprising where people are saying enough is enough. They didn't burn down people's homes. They burned down a police station, the entity that is responsible for the terrorism in their community.
Yes, and let's go to what the president had to say about that. Let's see. The president said, Well, that's kind of small. I'll read it from my phone. And
yeah, the second tweet is the one about these protesters, but you can see the comparison between the first protesters who were white, who were protesting public health orders to stay your ass in your house so you do not catch COVID-19.
Yeah.
They're described as great Americans. But our people, when they saw a black man murdered in the streets, are described as thugs by this president, who is the biggest thug that America has ever seen.
Listen, these thugs, he says, I can't stand back and watch this happen to a great American city, Minneapolis. A total lack of leadership. Either the very weak radical left mayor, Jacob Frey, get his act together and bring the city under control, or I will send in the National Guard and get the job done right. These thugs are dishonoring the memory of George Floyd, and I won't let that happen. Just spoke to Governor Tim Walz and told him that the military is with him all the way. Any difficulty, and we will assume control. But when the looting starts, the shooting starts. Thank you.
Right. So essentially, this president has said that it's open season on black people who choose to take to the streets and protest and choose to vocalize their rage. I saw someone in the comments say, Juicy Diva, what do they want us to do? Stay quiet and get killed? What are we supposed to do? What else is the alternative? We supposed to go home and eat chicken after we see one of our brothers killed in the streets? After we hear about Breonna Taylor and there's no justice? What are we supposed to do?
Well, they also saying that they're police officers that started the riots, actually.
And see, you know, and here's the thing, you know, we have to look at these things as not being as on the surface as it appears to be, that there is oftentimes more nefarious and evil intentions behind what is happening. And we are in a really interesting time as a country. But I don't believe that this is the end. This is the start, y'all. This is the start of something better. Out of crisis always births change. And so either we're going to be about it or we not. That's why I'm running for the state Senate seat. Everybody lives in a town where there's a local election that has the power to hold police accountable. That there's a state senator in your state, in your city. There's a state representative. There's a city council member. There's a judge that has the power to make sure that these things don't happen again. And if your ass don't get out and vote, then what we have is what we're responsible for.
But I keep telling people all the time that it has to start on a local level. We always think that we waiting on November when the president comes in, honey. We got listen, those people be already in place, like in the local.
Okay, so somebody was asking me if I'm single. Can I answer that?
Not right now. Hey, Aaliyah.
Okay. Hey, what's up, Aaliyah?
I just wanted to say that I love y'all. I love y'all. I wish I lived in Georgia. You would have had my vote.
Listen, can I get some money? Can I get some money?
Google me. You better Google.
Okay.
Yes, Maddie, I love y'all. I love y'all. I just wanted to start out with love. Anybody commenting, anybody saying anything, I love y'all. But these people killing us, like, just stop killing black people. That's all I came to say.
Just stop killing black
people.
Stop killing black people.
Whatever, whoever, gay, straight, whatever, they need to stop killing us. And we have kneeled. We have tried to be peaceful. I'm not mad at the people in Minnesota blowing shit up.
No, I'm not either. I'm not either.
Like they don't understand trying to do stuff the right way, trying to be civil, trying to be peaceful. So blow it up. And if it's looking, I need a TV. So
take the bit.
You know, one of the things that I would say,
take that bitch to the ground. Take that bitch to the ground all the way, not halfway.
Take that bitch all the way. Okay.
One of the things that I will say that really irritates me is, like, you know, they try and get the black community leaders and the black politicians. Well, what about the riots? And it's like, wait a second. We haven't dealt with, the officers haven't been arrested.
Thank you.
No one
Thank
has
you.
been held accountable.
Thank you.
And you want to talk to me
Thank
about
you.
things that are covered by insurance? A life is not covered by insurance. We cannot bring back George Floyd. We cannot bring back Breonna Taylor. We cannot bring back Ahmaud Arbery. We cannot bring them back.
You can't.
We cannot.
Saying
that TV that I'm not telling people to, what I will say is I'm not going to tell anybody to go out and take something that's not yours. But that TV that is being taken from that Target has insurance to cover that.
Well, first of all,
corporate insurance to cover that. There is no insurance to cover the lives of the people who've been taken by the police department.
Right. So, but first of all, Devin, did you talking about the TV? Did you see those 2 lamps that was taken up out of there?
I didn't see no lamps. What you talking about, the lamp?
You didn't see that white woman running with them 2 lamps? So we're not gonna sit up here and act like that it's just black folks in there just tearing the motherfucker down and going in there looting and stuff. Those white folks out there in that bitch looting.
Please send that to me. Please send it to me so I can laugh.
And what's her name? Tommy Lauren. What's that bitch name?
Ooh,
Tommy Lauren. That white hoe that be on the news, spreading this narrative that Tommy,
you talking about the one that often getting cussed out by some black rapper? Yeah,
yeah. So she, you know, girl. So she was talking about what is the looting and stuff gonna do, and then they asked, did you must didn't see those 2 lamps run by? Bitch, I fell out, girl. Cause I saw they mainly zoomed in on that bitch running with those 2 Target lamps up out of that bitch. Lamps. She went down there in the situation and handled that, you know. And then you seen that motherfucking fake ass wheelchair having ass bitch riding around.
Lord,
Jennifer,
Lord Jesus.
Like she wasn't stabbing people up. They said she was stabbing people up.
And you know, it's so interesting. In America, there are people that are willing to, instead of side with humanity, instead of side with the emotions of people who have been oppressed for 400 years, you don't own that Target. You probably don't even own stock in Target. Target is never going to cut you a check. Never. Ever. But you want to police black rage so much that you will go down there and put yourself in harm's way and stab people in a wheelchair to stop them.
Trying to break into an ATM too. I was like, oh, Jennifer had a plan.
Yeah, Tommy.
Buddha had a booter. Okay,
I can't.
She was trying to do too much, and I was just like, for him to lose his life, they said it was a bad check, and then they said it was over a fake $20 bill. Why?
Now the story changed. Now all the footage that we're seeing shows that this man didn't resist shit
at all. He was
at all.
Up. And the fact that they had so many policemen on him, I could not watch. Like my heart.
I didn't watch that video because we saw that with Eric Garner back in 2015. We saw that with Eric Garner back in 2015, and Eric was a big black man.
Yes. And that was all I came to say.
George was nowhere near the size of Eric. Poor George.
Nowhere. And then I'm seeing all these videos about him speaking out against gun violence and doing things the right way. And you don't need to do that. We need to stop killing each other. I'm like, black people need to stop dying, period. I don't care if it's us, because black on black crime is not a fucking thing. I'm so sorry. That's just my opinion. A lot of people are killing just because of the circumstances that they're in, and the system has set that shit up.
Right. So, well, of course, crime is going to happen where if you live around more black people, then you're going to have crime with more black people. If you live in a white neighborhood, where is the crime going to come from? Exactly. Right. So this whole notion of we don't have white on white crime. We just call it crime. Yeah. Right. And but to label it as black on black crime is a label that was with the intention to make it appear as though that black people are more criminal, that black people are more violent, that black people are more dangerous. And that's just the statistics, y'all statistics, America's statistics, all the FBI statistics don't shake out with that. It just isn't true.
It's not true. And white people have killed more white people than black people have killed black people. So
listen, let me tell you something. I was sitting there watching Oxygen, and thank you, Aaliyah, because we got to get to somebody else too. And thank you,
Aaliyah.
Baby, thank you. Yeah, I was sitting there watching Oxygen yesterday to piggyback off of what Aaliyah said, and Oxygen is all crime all day now.
Yeah.
the stories of these white women killing their husbands and these
right
for these insurance policies and like with a bitch because I don't want to be beefing in that war with a bitch because this we beefing and warring with these folk. I don't want to be the type of bitch to be beefing and warring with you, bitch, because when I get my hand, when it's time for me to really retaliate, I don't want you to be able to see no more. I don't want you to be able to walk. I want you to know that when anytime you think of me, you know the repercussions. Even if you knew a bitch, if you think about a bitch named Madison or a nigga named Tim, bitch, any of them two names, you motherfucking run away from shit like that. I want to put that type of fear in you, bitch, that don't fuck with me because I ain't did none of you. I done peacefully protested against you, like, hey, you know, I'm trying to take the high road. When I got to go down that dark road, bitch, I want you to know, bitch, that I'm driving in there in my Cadillac, bitch, like Medea do.
Right. But that, you know what? And the way you feel is the sentiment that a lot of Americans, I mean, my black folks, we feel it, but I'm seeing some white folks, I'm seeing a whole bunch of people just tired of, let's call it what it is, racist people. So I'm with you. I'm with you, girl. Like,
yeah, they out there tearing the bitch. They out there tearing that bitch down too. Tear that bitch down to the ground. Take the motherfucker out. I ain't opposed to it. I'm sitting there watching on TV, burn it down.
I mean,
tear the club up, bitch.
I'm keep it real.
You ain't hearing no other way. Tear the club up. Now you want to call it. You should have been calling the military in when they was in there doing that bullshit. Stopping them from doing it. You should have been calling the military in by that. Now you want to call the military in, bitch, when this motherfucker going down to the ground. Let it be nothing but blocks and ash, bitch.
You know what? My stance is this. People are going to take action. I don't condone violence because it's never the solution. But at the same time, I recognize that people are fed up and tired. So like,
well, I don't condone violence either, but I condone a bitch getting tired. I condone a bitch get tired of shit. Like you, bitch, you tired of it. Like bitch, I ain't even fucking with you. Leave me alone. All right, now when I put these hands on you, bitch, don't call it. Don't do this. So when I fuck, don't be the victim now. See, now you the victim.
Exactly, and understand the why though. Like, don't act like we're doing this without any cause. Like, understand why people are upset right now. There is a man with his head on the pavement saying he cannot breathe with 3 to 4 people, with somebody got there. Who would even think that it's appropriate to have your knee? I don't care if they're black, white, gay, straight, bi, tie. I don't care what you are. Why would you think it's appropriate to have your knee on somebody's neck so that they can't breathe? And then you hear them
while they're handcuffed. But what I do believe that it was him showing a position of authority. He was trying to show the authority that he had. It was because the man was already his handcuffs. He was behind his back. His hands behind his back. So bitch, it was just like you. And the way he was kneeling was like, bitch, I'm in charge here. You know, kneeling and looking around. It's like, bitch, I'm in charge here. It was there. It was just showing the authority that he had, the dominance that he had over this man.
Maddie, let me ask you this. Why do you think he felt comfortable enough to have videotape, to have just think about the context of the situation, people telling him to get off. Why do you think he felt empowered enough to actually just stand there for 8 or 10 or however many minutes it was, with people yelling at him, telling him the guy's gonna die? And he just felt empowered. He was just so calm. If you really look at him, just calmly killing somebody, a black person.
Because he's used to being, you know, knowing that he has the authority. I have the authority to do this. You see me?
Exactly.
You know, I'm King Kong. Exactly. What Denzel said on Train Today? I'm King Kong in this motherfucker.
Right. You're right. And so who gave him that authority, and who is responsible for ensuring that he is corrected when that authority is misused?
Well,
the police station. It's the Department of Justice.
Yeah, right. One, the color of his skin did. One, because you already know that's number one.
Yes.
2, the job. You know, the police is they are held up. They are the law. The law means obey. Law means obey. So,
and they've been executioner more recently too, as you could tell. Law and executioner.
Yeah.
So he gives them more.
And you know, he knows, and majority of the time, the law feels like the judge got their bag.
Mm-hmm.
They got their bag. Like, these people got my bag, bitch. You to get what I'm saying? I ain't worried about none of you. I'm not worried about none of you lower level bitches, because I'm white. I work for the law. I am the law. And you motherfuckers gonna watch me break this nigga right here. I said lay down. Not only I ain't gonna tell you to lay down, I mean lay down and don't get up at all. Period. You know. So, they don't call in the troops. My God, today. All right, hold on. Let me, Steve. Thank you for coming through here.
Thank you.
Listen, you always welcome here. You and Anthony. You welcome here. Hey guys, if you just enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Or if you're already here, click that bell up there, one of them, and subscribe so that you don't miss this or any other excellent content that I have for you. Don't meet me here, beat me here. Ciao.